All right, hey, how y'all doing? We are back, and I think we're at the season finale of How to Get Away with Murder, season 5, episode 15. So, we're gonna jump right into it, and we know that things flash between current and past and present, and Annalise's house and the kids' house and everybody's house. So stick with me. Just hang in there with me a little bit longer. All right, so we're gonna be flashing back to Nate Sr. meeting with Laurel's brother, which his name is Xavier. So we flash back to Nate Sr. meeting with Laurel's brother, and he's basically trying to convince Nate Sr. to work with him instead of Annalise. Why? Because he hates Annalise. He feels like Annalise destroyed his whole family, and we later found out that he was working with Miller, trying to take Annalise down in exchange. That's the word. In exchange for the new DA's position that Miller wanted, right? Okay, so Laurel's brother Xavier told Nate Sr. that he's gonna regret denying him as his attorney, which we're gonna assume, okay, as a result of Nate Sr. denying Xavier as his attorney, in an attempt to take down Annalise, it got him killed. All right, cool. Not cool, but we get it. All right, so Annalise, Laurel, Frank, and Bonnie, they're talking, over at wherever they're at, and they're trying to figure out why Laurel's brother would want to take Nate Sr. down. Like, what reason would he want to kill that guy? He's somebody that's in prison, that's headed to a mental institution. There's no dog in the fight that Xavier has at this point. But again, we're gonna later find out it's all going to go back to Annalise, and his ultimate goal is to hurt Annalise and Laurel also. So Connor, Asher, Michaela, and Oliver they're staring at the bag that has Laurel's mom's scalp in the bag, and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. So nobody really has a plan at the moment, so they're just in there kind of low key freaking out. Back at Gabriel's apartment, the investigator, Telesco, the lady that Tegan seduced and got kicked off of the case, she is back at Gabriel's house, and she's trying to get him to snitch on Annalise in exchange for information about who exactly killed his dad, which is Sam. Right. And she also, jumps out on a limb. She tells him, hey, you need to help me because Annalise is actually the one who killed Sam, which we all know that's not the case. Annalise has not killed anybody. She's just gone above and beyond to protect all the killers in her house. So, yeah. All right, so the governor meets with Annalise because remember last episode Nate and the gang was trying to conspire to set the governor up and place Miller's murder on the governor in order to take the heat off of Annalise and Nate and everybody else. So in return, the governor she forged some phone records and forged everything to make it look like Crawford, which is Annalise's boss at the law firm, to make it look like he actually was the one that killed Miller. Okay? Which the call logs are fake, and everybody's figuring that out now. So last episode, everybody thought Crawford was the one who ordered the hit on Nate Sr. However, he was not. Okay? So, the governor, she still wants Crawford to go down. She's not realizing that Annalise has anything to do with it, but she also knows that the FBI is investigating her, and she want to get from up under this as soon as possible. So she's going to trying to convince Annalise that Crawford did it. The phone records aren't fake. We need to pursue charges against Crawford, and Annalise ain't having it. So we also find out that the Castillos, which is Laurel's family, somehow or another, her dad is in prison and he's still, conspiring to do things. And he said he is helping the governor to frame Crawford for Miller's murder. I think that's right. All right. So Annalise is calling Tegan and saying, hey, Tegan, can you go represent Crawford? I can't do it because of the conflict of interest. They have played when Annalise believed that Crawford did it, she was in Tegan's office and she said, hey, I'm going to go have dinner with him. He asked me to dinner. I'm going to go to dinner with him to look at this liar in his face and, make him admit that he actually conspired to kill Miller. And so there was a bug in the office. I think Crawford put it in there, or somebody had bugged Tegan's office. And now the investigators are playing that, letting them know, like, hey, this is a conflict of interest and she can't be your representation. So she asked Tegan to do it. Tegan was like, I don't want no parts of that because I don't want the Castillos coming after me. Everybody that they come after ends up dead. So I'm good. So she don't want them to come after her next. Um, Xavier, which is Law's brother, he also visited Miller before Miller died, and he offered him a way to become DA. And he said, "Hey, Miller, if you want to be, I know a way you could become the DA. How? I want you to schedule a transfer at night for Nate Sr. That way they can have him killed. I guess in retaliation for him not helping them take Annalise down and going with the plan." And, we think Miller is going to go along with it or whatever. It kind of sounds like it because he wants to be the new DA so bad. So this is our assumption at this point. And he lets Miller know that Annalise was the one that killed Denver, and she was the one that set up Laurel's dad, Mr. Castillo, for whatever murder went down last season that he got caught up, that they set him up on, and he ended up going to prison for. Okay, so we're back at the house where everybody lives, all the students, and Laurel has drawn up some legal guardianship papers to Oliver and Connor in the event that she dies. She knows that her mom is now dead, and her dad is, working some kind of mafia magic while he's in prison, and she's afraid she's going to die. So she's drawn up some legal papers for Oliver. She thinks they'll be the best suited. They have the most love, and she didn't have any love growing up, so she thinks if she were to die that Christopher would get the most love from Oliver and Connor. She's so melodramatic, but okay, girl, whatever. I guess you know your family's killers, so be prepared. All right, so Annalise isn't giving up. She still wants to defend Crawford and help, and she also lets her know, like, hey, if you let me represent you, I will help you get the DA position. Don't know why she's campaigning to help him out so bad. I guess she kind of likes him now that he's confided and tell her that he likes her. I don't know. It's weird. So Bonnie is calling around. She's still trying to prove Miller innocent. And we flash back to a time when he called her before he died, and he let her know, like, he's thinking about not running for the DA. He's just running through everything Xavier told him and all the sketchy stuff that he has to do in order to even be considered for the DA position, and he doesn't want any parts. And it sounds like he calls Nate's brother back and says, "Hey, I'll help you out. All right, I give up. I don't want to fight it. I'll help you. I'll help you. Basically, I'll help you set up Nate Sr. to get killed." So I'm gonna keep going through the episode. And Nate somehow he's talking to the warden and he's asking about some kind of recording. I missed that part, and he ends up. I think he pushed the warden really hard, and he ended up in jail. This season they can't stay at them damn people's jail for some reason. He went to jail like 5 times this season, but he ends up in jail, and he calls Annalise and let him know he's in jail, and that Miller forced the warden to schedule the transfer at night, which that is definitely against protocol. So he's still on his campaign to say, hey, Miller has something to do with it. Miller's not totally innocent. So we need to figure that out. All right. So moving on. Gabriel tells Michaela that Laurel met with the investigator, which lets him know that somebody in that house, to include Laurel and or Michaela, knows something about Sam's death, and he's badgering her, trying to get the information, and she's not with it. She's not with it. She leaves, and she lets everybody in the house know, like, hey, Laurel had an offer for the immunity on the table, and she met with the investigator. So now everybody's kind of mad at Laurel, which I would be mad too, because as much as you've been involved in all these other murders, now you want to ask for immunity? Girl, you going down with the ship like everybody else. Okay? So she pulls out that damn blanket again out of some random vent in the house. She was like, look, this is the blanket that Christopher had on at the wedding, and I could have used this to get immunity, but I did not. I'm here for you guys just like you guys were here for me throughout all these years. And I guess that's her way to prove to them her loyalty, and let them know, like, hey, she's there for the group just like the group is there for her. Okay, Laurel, get it together, girl. Just throw the blanket away and move on with your life. Anyway, Annalise lets Crawford know she can't represent him, and I think I already went to the part where she asked Tegan to represent him and Nate. And Tegan is still terrified of the Castillos and what could possibly happen to her. So, yeah. So, Gladden. Gladden is the officer that supposedly got that Nate Sr. stabbed in the leg the night that the other guy shot him in the head. Right? So Frank runs up on her and he's strangling her in her car and letting her know, hey, the only way you're going to get your win back if you tell me exactly who put the hit out. Who ordered the hit, basically. Who ordered the hit on Nate Sr. And she says that Xavier Castillo, which is Laurel's brother, actually ordered the hit and he paid her. Okay? So put that in your memory bank. So the security guard that started this whole thing by saying Nate Sr. stabbed her in the leg that eventually led to him getting killed said Xavier, Laurel's brother, is the reason that he got killed. Xavier ordered the hit. Xavier made sure Nate Sr. died. Okay? No mention of Miller. Okay? All right. So Crawford said that they set him up for the murder because they're sitting around and trying to figure out why. Why Crawford? He's just, a lowly old lawyer working at a law firm. Why do they want to set you up? And he let them know, like, hey, they want to set me up because all of the DAs prior to him were in the Castillo's pocket. He was on their payroll and he did what they needed him to do. However, he's an upstanding guy and he would not be bought. So now he's going to go down for Miller's murder because Miller was going to be the next guy to be on their payroll. However, Miller's dead. So now you're going to be set up for Miller to death. Okay? Y'all still with me? All right, good. Okay. So now they're trying to come up with a way to get the investigator Telesco off of Gabriel's case, because if they don't, Gabriel's going to break under the pressure. So they need to come up with a way to get her off of that case, just like Tegan was able to get her off of Annalise's case, at least in the meantime. So, that's they're trying to come up with a plan for that. Annalise asks Laurel, is she ready to do, I guess, everything's kind of coming to a head now. We're getting at the end of the episode and there's a random call and Annalise's call. Laura asks her, is she ready to do what she's supposed to do to fix this for everybody? Whatever that means. And so Xavier, Laura's brother, he's talking, Annalise and Laura come to his house and they're kind of badgering him like, why did you do this? What was the point? You're a little henchman for your dad and you're weak. And, Laurel's always been the favorite, which is why he refuses to let Laurel go live her life outside of the conspiracies and the things that her family does. Let her go, let her be free, leave her alone. And they mention her mother. They mention Laurel's mom being scalped. And they think up until now, everybody thought that Xavier was the one that did it because he's killing everybody that's had anything to do with his dad going to prison because his mom was in witness protection, I guess, for her role in helping him go to jail. And he looks thoroughly confused, like he has no idea what they're talking about and, saying that he knows nothing about it. And, yeah, so meanwhile, Asher's at the police station and he took the scalp in a little gift bag to the police department in an attempt to get Telesco fired. And he lets them know, like, hey, Laura knows nothing about this, but he's going under the guise like, hey, Laura was afraid of her father. However, this is what happened. When Telesco was supposed to put her mom in witness protection, she didn't do a very good job, and now her mom is dead. So we want to get Telesco removed from all these cases and get her fired, which definitely pays off. So now Telesco is fired for the second time from a second series of cases in this season. So because if Telesco doesn't get fired, she's going to investigate Gabriel, which is going to lead to investigations into all the deaths that has happened throughout this whole How to Get Away with Murder series, which definitely can't happen because everybody's going to go to jail if that takes place. So she's gotten fired. So it seems like we're revealing everything. And when Miller called Xavier and let him know he was going to help him, he actually didn't. He told Xavier, hey, I'll help you. I'll make sure the transfer ends up at night. But however, he goes to the warden and he pleads and begs. Miller goes to the warden and pleads and begs with the lawyer saying, hey, please move this transfer to the morning. They don't do transfers that morning. Well, no. Move the transfer tonight because they normally do them in the morning. However, he was trying to get the transfer moved to the opposite end of the day so that Xavier wouldn't have his henchmen on schedule, which are the guards, in order to kill Nate Sr., right? So he's begging him, he's begging him, he's begging him. He was able to get Nate Sr.'s transfer moved up to the morning as opposed to night, in an attempt to actually save his life, but it didn't work. Xavier was able to find out one way or another, and he still ended up getting Nate Sr. killed by his henchmen, which were the guards that worked for him in the Casillo family, right? Okay, so so now it's found out that Miller has he's double-crossed Xavier, and he couldn't be bought, and Xavier's kind of mad about it, so he was able to figure it out, and he still got Nate Sr. killed, and he called Miller, and he was like, hey, yeah, you thought you were smart, huh? You thought you could get that transfer moved to mornings. So he was like, yeah, I was still successful. So he lets us know, hey, you try to double-cross us again, then your precious little Bonnie is going to die next. So now he's threatening Bonnie at this point. So that's unfortunate. So Annalise and Laurel are there, and they're badgering him, and he still, he claims he doesn't know anything and leave her alone. And, they just want Laurel to be free to live her happy-go-lucky, desperate housewives life. And once they leave, Xavier calls someone, which we later found out is the governor, on the phone, and he lets us know, like, hey, they're moving on to Plan B, which is Plan B is we'll get into what Plan B is, but he's calling the government, no, hey, they know more than we think they know about Nick Sr. and the whole case and the setup with Crawford. So we need to move on to Plan B. Boom. So all and Conover are on the computer, and they realize that Annalise, they're on the computer and they're looking at something, and everybody's like, what are y'all looking at? And Asher is happy because Telesco's fired. He's like, let's celebrate. Nobody trying to celebrate. They're looking at the computer, and they're like, nobody's gonna want to celebrate after Michaela finds out that Annalise knew Michaela's birth father. Okay? So Annalise looks like she knows a little bit about everybody's family background, which is weird how everybody ended up in her class and basically on her payroll and ends up needing her protection at all points during this whole franchise, right? So now we learned that she knew Sam, which is Gabe's family. She knew the Castillos, which is Laura's family. She knew Wes's mom years ago, which Wes ended up in her class. So now we learn, hey, she knew Michaela's birth father. And Michaela, from what we know, Michaela's birth father shot her mom, which I don't know if he killed her mom, but I know he shot her mom, which she ended up in foster care and she's adopted and blah, 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 blah. All right. So Telesco is, as she's packing her stuff, she's calling Gabriel's mom. She told Gabriel she wouldn't, but now I guess she decided, I'm fired. I might as well call her and snitch on Gabriel to his mom. I guess I don't know what the benefit would be of snitching on Gabriel to his mom, because unless there's an attempt to get her to fall back off the wagon and get back on that dope, I don't know. All right, so Crawford was released, and he's in his office with Tegan, and he's letting him know, like, hey, I'm released, but that's still with the Castillo cloud over his head. He knows they're still gonna come for him. So he's like, hey, Tegan, let's just get shit faced tonight. Like, let's just get totally drunk and forget about this just for the night. Let's just relax. And she was like, okay, but let me just run to my office and get something really quick. So she's running to her office, right? Put a pause. All right, so the guard that said Nate Sr. stabbed her is now talking to Bonnie, and she claims she wants to tell the truth. However, she wants to make a deal. So she tells Bonnie it was Miller that put the hit on Nate Sr. Mind you, earlier she told Frank the complete and honest truth because Frank was about to kill her. It was Xavier. But now they can't admit to Bonnie that they made a mistake in killing Miller. So they go to the officer, Gladden or whatever her name is, and tells her, hey, we need you to tell Bonnie that it was Miller who put out the hit, when in actuality it was Xavier. We need to save face at this point, because we done killed Miller and Bonnie's on the edge, and she might snitch at any moment because she's fragile as well. So you need to tell Bonnie you want to make a deal, you want to tell the truth, you want to come clean, and that it was Miller who put the hit out. However, Miller's definitely innocent, but Bonnie's willing to believe anything that will make her feel better about killing Miller. All right. So they set that up, and now Bonnie believes it, and she lets Nate know, like, hey, it was Miller. We were right. We weren't wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Whoop-de-whoop. Okay? So now the governor is speaking her truth, or what she tells the press is her truth at this press conference, and she lets them know that there's another person of interest that the investigators aren't paying any attention to, even though she's seen evidence with her own eyes that points to him as the person that killed Miller, and she lets them know, hey, it's Emmett Crawford. right? All right. So, however, Tegan is in her office on the phone talking to Annalise, and she's letting her know, like, hey, Crawford's released. We're still worried about the Castillos, but he's released. I'm supposed to be upstairs with him right now getting drunk, but I had to come to my office and let you know that the governor is, pointing fingers at Crawford. Now we pan back up to Crawford's office, and Crawford is on the floor. He dying. He foaming at the mouth. He's holding his heart. So we're gonna operate under the assumption that somebody has poisoned Crawford's liquor, because he was always in that damn liquor bottle. Just side note, I did notice that throughout the season, but I ain't here to judge. Somebody has poisoned. This is my guess. Somebody has poisoned Crawford's liquor, the liquor that him and Tegan were supposed to be indulging in. Luckily, she had to go to her office and got distracted with the governor's speech on the TV or wherever it was at. So somebody has poisoned his liquor, and he is now on the floor, dying at this point. So I don't know what's going to happen with the case, because the person that was supposed to take the fall is now going to be dead in the next season. So who going to take the fall from Miller's death? I don't know. It'll probably go away because the person of interest is now dead and the Castillos are untouchable at this point. So yeah, we'll see. So this whole time that Annalise is talking to Tegan, she's on her phone and she's walking and she's kind of celebrating, like, hey, we're good. Me and Laura, we're fine. They're walking and talking, and Tegan lets her know, that the governor is pointing the finger at Crawford, and she's just so surprised, I guess, that the governor's still pushing this Crawford narrative. And then she looks around, I guess, to let Laurel know that, and Laurel is vanished without a trace. Sis is gone. Laurel is nowhere to be found. No shoes left behind, nothing, no sound, no noise. So she in the middle of the street, Laurel. So Laurel ain't nowhere to be found, girl. Laurel gone. She calls the house to have them go upstairs and run and see where Christopher is, and they're looking at the baby monitor, like, he's right here. We're looking at the monitor, but they're still running upstairs to look, and they go into the nursery, and Christopher is gone as well. So they're looking at the crib that's empty, and they're looking at the monitor, and they're still seeing him, and it looks like somebody has tapped into their system and put it on loop. So it's just a video of the baby laying there, to give them the visual that he's there. However, he's been kidnapped. So Laurel's missing, Christopher's missing, and Crawford is dead. Okay, so I don't know. I think Laurel's dad has gotten people to kidnap Laurel, and Christopher, mind you, Christopher's already been kidnapped before his granddaddy went to prison. So Christopher's on a milk carton yet again, in combination with his worrisome mother. Laurel's missing, Christopher's missing, Crawford's dead. Telesco has gotten fired. So we'll see how this sums up next season. I think this was the season finale of How to Get Away with Murder. So as usual, they left me with more questions, because I don't know who's going to take the fall now that Crawford's dead. What's going to happen to Laura and Christopher? Are we never going to see them again because they got kidnapped? And her daddy probably killed them like they did to mom. I don't know. So yeah, we will unfortunately have to wait until next season to see what happens on season 6 of How to Get Away with Murder. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Peace.